my honor and great pleasure to introduce you to our 2020 Judge Wiley Daniel Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Judge Gary M. Jackson. Gary Jackson was born in Denver, Colorado in 1945. From the time he was a toddler, Gary, like most other children, had a skepticism towards strangers. But he loved to play and he loved to explore and play dress up. Growing up in Denver, Colorado, in the area now known as Cherry Creek, there weren't many kids that looked a lot like Gary. But that never stopped him from doing the things that he wanted to do while he went to Stuck Elementary, Hill Middle School, and George Washington High School. Gary's childhood was filled with regular retreats to the family cabin built by his grandfather in 1926 in the Lincoln Hills community just outside of Netherland, Colorado. It's where many African American families could enjoy the camaraderie of their neighbors and not deal with the segregation that waited for them back at home. Eventually, Gary made his way through high school and found his way to the University of Colorado in Boulder for both his bachelor's degree and his law degree. He would get sworn into the Colorado Bar in 1970. After 6 years in public service, Gary went into private practice, where he would remain for 37 years, helping to form the Sam Carey Bar Association, guide the Delta Eta Boule fraternity, and work to improve the experiences of lawyers of color throughout Colorado. The friends that Gary would make during these years would become lifelong friends. He would hone his legal skills and, as he approached the pinnacle of his career, he would be named a 5280 super lawyer in 2012. Then, in 2013, Gary returned to public service when he was appointed to the Denver County Court, where he would remain until today. Since that time, Gary has never stopped supporting other lawyers, particularly minority lawyers, in their quest to be the best lawyers they could be, or even judges just like him.
I know that everybody else knows this as well, but you've been integral in our legal community in so many ways over the course of the years, and to me personally. Most everybody knows Judge Jackson was a founding member of the Sam Carey Bar Association. It was his efforts with that bar association that inspired me in part to develop and ultimately become the founding president of the South Asian Bar Association. What's interesting is that at 1741 High Street, where we worked together for 20 years, another associate of his, prior to me, Lucy Denson, was the founding president of the Asian Pacific American Bar Association. So Sam Carey and Saba and Apaba all have roots that lead back to Gary Jackson. And Judge Jackson, that's what's amazing about you. Your reach and your breadth and your influence stretches beyond just one community. It truly is a representation of collaboration among communities and bringing diverse communities together.
But in the end, anyone who knows Gary knows that it's Gary's family that he cherishes most. Whether it's his parents, his siblings, his children, or grandchildren, Gary loves the time that he spends with them at the cabin or elsewhere in Colorado. Throughout his 50-year career, it was friends and colleagues like Judge Wiley Daniel who worked with Gary to champion diversity, equity, and inclusion and make Colorado the better place that it is today.
Gary is a giant in the diversity and inclusion area in Denver. In how he practiced as a lawyer, showed diversity and inclusion. He opened the door for attorneys across the state to be able to work in a more inclusive environment. He started the Sam Carey Bar Association, was one of its initial founders, and after he's become a judge, he's really carried that through and made diversity on the bench one of the hallmarks of what's important to him, and that's highlighted the issue for the whole legal profession. Gary helped me personally in one of my many failed attempts to get to be a judge. I met with Gary, talked to him about what it takes to be a judge, and he was gracious of his time, of his energy, and cared about all of the people who were involved in the judicial process, and I'm forever thankful for him for doing that. It's fair to say that Gary, I don't believe, sees people as characteristics. He sees them as people and wants to bring out the best in all of them and recognizes that everybody has value.
It probably started in 1963 when I graduated from high school. And in 1963 was the March on Washington. And viewing that march, viewing those civil rights leaders, and reflecting on how that particular march affected my family. My family, my great-grandfather, my grandparents came from the segregated South. And so they had come to Colorado for more opportunities. And in watching that March on Washington in 1963, before I went off to college, was probably the wake-up call for me personally in terms of my particular role in diversity, in terms of inclusion. When I graduated from law school in 1970, there were a total of 15 black attorneys in Colorado. Those 15 black attorneys welcomed me. At that time, there were 2 African-American judges, Judge Flanagan, who is the judge who this building is named after. He is the judge who became the first diverse judge in Colorado. In 1970, when I was hired by the Denver District Attorney's Office, I was the only diverse deputy in the state. There were no Latino deputy district attorneys. There were no other African-American district attorneys, Asians. And in fact, in our office, there were 4 women out of approximately 45 lawyers. The founding members of Sam Carey were basically what I call young Turks. All of us were probably between the ages of 25 and 32. What makes this one important for me is that Wiley and I were friends for 42 years. Wiley and I had so many different things in common, and just in terms of both having the attitude that we wanted to increase the opportunities for African American and other diverse lawyers, so we worked on those types of efforts. Everybody in this room that's a lawyer can be reaching out to their community groups, to their high schools. Everyone in this room can advance the pipeline through challenging their law schools, the law schools that they may have attended.
Congratulations, Judge Jackson. This is a wonderful, well-deserved honor.
Congratulations, Gary. On behalf of CLI, it's our honor to give you this award. You've certainly earned it.
Congratulations, Gary, on this wonderful honor. It is so well deserved.
Hey everyone, I'm Mayor Michael Hancock. To my dear friend, the Honorable and Wonderful Judge Gary Jackson, I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight as you accept the Judge Wiley Daniel Lifetime Achievement Award. You know, you have proven throughout your career that you are committed to bringing diversity, inclusion, and equity to the bench. I have watched over the years with a great deal of admiration as you have worked with young attorneys who one day dream of being a judge, and you have helped to mentor them and prepare them for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Judge, and congratulations, and keep up the great work.